Welcome. This is a recorded session for those of you who could not attend TIA allotment verification training on April 28th. This session is specifically for districts that employ designated teachers but are not yet issuing designations locally or have no plans to create a local designation system. All resources from the session we held on 4/28 can be found at tiatexas.org/resources. That includes the session slide deck, our guide to verifying allotments for districts that employ designated teachers, the allotment confirmation attestations, this pre-recorded webinar, and spending plan resources. Our team will also host allotment verification office hours on May 4th from 3 to 5 p.m. and a registration link is provided both in your email and in the slide deck. So our goals for this session are to show districts how to access and view information in SCOMS, verify their allotment data against local records, learn how to dispute any allotment outcomes, and finally confirm their allotment. A quick TIA refresh on the mechanics, timelines, and teacher eligibility. The goals for the teacher incentive allotment are to help districts reward, retain, and recruit great teachers. The allotment verification process will finalize district allotments and allow you to compensate highly effective teachers. Let's take a look at the designation and allotment timeline. In February and March, districts completed the class roster winter submission. They also verified if designated teachers met or will have met the creditable year of service by the end of the 21-22 school year. In April, TEA will verify designated teacher placement and eligibility using the class roster winter submission data. Allotments will be calculated using each designated teacher's campus of employment at the time of class roster winter submission. By April 28th, districts should identify all eligible teachers for allotment verification. In May, districts will confirm or dispute their allotments in SCOMS by May 5th. They will attend allotment verification office hours if needed on May 4th. Any district with a dispute that requires reprocessing must confirm their final allotment by May 16th. New designations will be awarded in mid-May, and by the end of May, TEA will notify designated teachers of if their new designation and allotment generated for their district. By the end of May, TEA will also have a designated teacher public search available on the TIA website. By August 31st, districts must spend all scheduled allotment funds, not including fees, and in September, the Year 1 allotment funding will arrive for newly approved districts. It will show as line 30 on the district SOF report, and thereafter there will be continued funding for 22-23 based on projections from this current school year. Now we'll take a look at eligibility requirements so that districts can predetermine which teachers should generate an allotment. If you're a district that is not a cohort A through C approved district, the left will not apply. You will not have teachers earning a new designation through your local system just yet. That applies to cohort A through C districts who submitted new teachers this past fall. For any districts that employ a national board certified teacher that does not yet have a designation, this will be awarded automatically by TIA if they are employed as a Texas public school teacher in a 087 roll ID, have an active national board certificate, and as of January 31st, they were listed in the NBCT directory as employed in Texas. All designated teachers will generate an allotment if they meet the following criteria. They must have an active designation awarded in the same school year or a previous school year, be employed as a Texas public school teacher in a 087 roll ID, and meet the creditable year of service requirement. Now we'll take a closer look at the definition for creditable year of service. In order for teachers to earn a new designation through a local system or to generate an annual allotment once designated, teachers must be employed and compensated for a creditable year of service in a teaching role, or will be employed and compensated for a creditable year of service by the end of the school year. We define a teaching role as a 087 roll ID. Creditable year of service is 50% or more of the day in a teaching role for a minimum of 180 days, or 100% of the day for a minimum of 90 days, or the equivalent of one semester. If you're uncertain, take a look at paid contract days. These include providing instruction, professional development or staff days, and paid leave, including sick leave, military leave, or paid FMLA leave. TIA eligibility, including the roll ID and year of service, is determined using data from the class roster winter submission. This year's snapshot date was February 25th. Districts should have assigned each designated teacher a teacher incentive allotment designation code and a yes/no indicator for the creditable year of service. TEA also provided an option to report non-teachers of record using the Teacher School Association and the option to report teachers as centrally assigned using the CDN plus 999 for the campus code. One common question we get is regarding teacher movement. So what if a teacher resigned or retired after the February 25th class roster snapshot date? Or what if a designated teacher or MBCT moved into the district after the fall PEIMS snapshot? The response is if a teacher met the eligibility criteria and was reported in the class roster winter submission, they will generate an allotment for the district that employed them on February 25th. If a teacher is no longer with the district must determine how to spend the funds in compliance with statute. Spending resources are linked in the initial slide of this presentation. Now we'll take a look at SCOMS. This is the Strategic Compensation Operations Management System. SCOMS is an application that can be accessed through Teal, and it will allow district users to view, sort, filter, and export their historical allotment data. And this will include fee reimbursement if they're being reimbursed for national board fees. For districts with approved local designation systems, it will maintain a record of their annual designation submissions and outcomes. If your district does not have a local designation system, you will not be able to see which designated teachers are working in your district unless they generate an allotment. Districts will annually verify allotment values in SCOMS, and if needed, they can dispute the allotment values through the system. To request access to SCOMS, first sign in to your Teal account. To create a new account, please visit the link provided. Then you'll click My Application Accounts, request a new account, and select SCOMS from the application IDs. Click Add Access and type in your district for the employing organization. You'll then select the LEA representative role and notify your district Teal approver if needed. If you're not sure who your LEA approver is, or you're not having your account approved, please email tia@tea.texas.gov. When you first log into SCOMS, you'll see a homepage like this. There will be a place for designations, payout, and LEA details, and we'll work through each of these screens. On the LEA details page, this will show us your district, name, ID, rural flag, region. If you are a district that is either has a local designation system or is planning to in the future, it will show your system approval status. If your district is not participating in TIA, we recommend for SCOMS to have a human resources or business office point of contact. If you need to add or remove points of contact just for SCOMS purposes, please email us at tia@tea.texas.gov. On the SCOMS landing page, if you click Payout, it will take you to this Payout page. This displays the allotment by school year, by teacher, and by campus. There is also a tab for no-pay teachers. These are teachers who were reported in the class roster winter submission who did not meet the creditable year of service. Please note, the no-pay teachers tab will only show teachers who were reported in class roster winter submission. It will not show other designated teachers who may be working in the district. On the total by school year, this should match the district's summary of finance report. You may export data from any of these options to Excel. Also note that during our annual processing of designations and allotments, you will see an option to confirm or dispute your annual allotment. On the Payout by School Year page, there is a column for fees. For most districts this year, if you do not have a local designation system, you'll have 0 in fee reimbursement. You can click the fee value to see details. So teacher designation fees, that only applies to districts that are issuing designations under their local system. Fees and approved status will be reimbursed in September settle-up. So we do have a few districts attending this session who requested reimbursement of national board certification fees. So that those fees should match what was in the application that you submitted. Now we'll take a look at how to verify your allotment in SCOMS. There is some pre-work that we ask districts to do before confirming or disputing anything in SCOMS. For fees, if your district submitted a request for national board fee reimbursement, please verify that the fee data reflects the total that you requested on your application. If there are any discrepancies, please email us at tia@tea.texas.gov. We also ask that districts do some pre-work to determine teacher eligibility. So before confirming any allotments, we ask districts to review local records of any teachers with an existing designation or national board certified teachers who do not yet have a designation and are scheduled to earn one this year. Districts may also want to run an eco-certification report to check for designated teachers that were hired after fall PEIMS in October. Our team did reach out to any districts that employed a designated teacher based on fall PEIMS data, but it is possible that they were hired after that date. So you can run that report. Directions are included in this slide deck. And if a designated teacher was hired, please email us at tia@tea.texas.gov. And then we ask that you create a tracking document with all teachers who are potentially eligible for TIA. Here's a sample tracking document. We've included the teacher's first and last names, their unique ID, which is a 10-digit unique identifier through the TSDS Unique ID application, their CDCN, campus, roll ID as of fall PEIMS, the year of service, and whether or not they should be TIA eligible. And remember back to our eligibility rules, if they're in an 087 roll, for a year of service, they should be eligible for designation or allotment. Some additional fields to consider adding in your local tracker are the source of the designation. So are they a national board teacher? Was the designation district issued, or was it issued by another district? You may also include the level of designation, a local identifier, and any district notes. So in this example we have a couple of teachers who are not allotment eligible. Grace is a principal teacher split. She did not complete the year of service, and so the district is making a note here that she is not eligible for TIA, that she was a principal as of class roster. Lyra is also not eligible. She resigned on January 20th, so she should not appear, both of these teachers should not appear on the allotment report. So this is kind of the pre-work that districts can do, so when they go in and view their allotment data, they can determine if it's accurate. Now we'll take a look at the payout by teacher page. So this will, if you click on by teacher, again, the landing page will take you to the total by school year, but just to the right of that, you can click by teacher and select this current school year. This will be an itemized list of every teacher that has generated an allotment this year. And it will show you the source. We'll go through these fields in a moment. Their name, their unique ID, district information. There is a field called number of eligible campuses. For any teachers who are working at more than one campus, this will not be a 1, it will be a 2 or a 3, and you'll see multiple lines of data, 1 line for each campus. Show you their designation level, the expiry date, and then the payout that they generated for your district. A few notes about the payout by teacher field or column headers. The source will tell you how the active designation was earned. If it says TTU, that means that it was earned through a local designation system, either through the district's local designation system or another district if they are moving in. NB means they are a national board certified teacher and earned their designation through that route. If a teacher has more than one eligible campus, please note that there will be 1 line of data per campus. So multi-campus teachers will appear more than once on the payout report with 1 line of data per campus. The campus allotment will be the allotment value for the campus divided by the number of eligible campuses. And the total allotment will be the sum of those partial campus allotments. So if you have a teacher on more than one eligible campus, there is a field that will state number of eligible campuses. It will tell you how many campuses they were reported at, and the district must add those campus allotments after exporting the total allotment data. Here's an example of the exported payout data simulating Excel. So we have the source, TTU, the teacher first name, last name, unique ID, the district CDN, name, campus ID, campus name. Please note that all of these teachers in the example were reported at 1 eligible campus. If there were multiple campuses, we would see more than 1 line of data for those teachers. Has their teacher designation level, the expiry date, and the payout amount. One more reference to no-pay teachers. So again, these were reported in winter class roster, but did not generate an allotment. The most common reasons, either they were coded as 047 and not as 087. Given that this is the first year that districts used a TIA designation code or year of service, it's possible that there were some oversights with the PEIMS coordinators and maybe they were not given the creditable year of service. But those will show up on your payout no pay teachers. Very important to check that tab and make sure that all of those teachers that should have been eligible are in the payout by teacher page and not the no pay teachers. So before confirming the allotment, we ask that districts view all of the outcomes and SCOMs based on winter roster data and confirm that the allotment value for each teacher is accurate. So before clicking confirm, we want you to export the payout by teacher data and compare the SCOMs data to your district tracking document. Make sure that all eligible teachers generated an allotment and that their campus was correct. So ask yourselves those questions We know that some of y'all have maybe 1 or 2 designated teachers, and this will be a very quick process. But for those of you with a higher number of teachers, it's very important that you check these one by one. If any discrepancies are found, you'll want to make a note in your district's tracking document. Now we'll go back to our district sample tracking document and enter notes that we might need when the allotment data did not match up with our local records. So here we have our list of teachers again. We have our predicted eligibility. We have a few that should be no. And then we look at, did they generate an allotment? So all of these are correct except for this one. So it looks like Grace generated an allotment even though she was not TIA eligible. So I'm going to make a note that she was not an 087, should not have generated an allotment. And then we have Paula. She serves at 2 campuses, but only 1 appeared in the SCOMS data. So correct campus, not correct. We need to make sure that we add that campus in and reprocess her allotment. So we've got some notes here for making disputes. So now we'll look at submitting disputes. If everything in your allotment data looks accurate, there's no need for a dispute, and you'll move straight ahead to confirm. However, if you catch any discrepancies in your local records and SCOMS data, you will need. So what is a dispute? That's a request for manual error resolution of any data at the teacher level that's inaccurate. So anything that was not correct in winter class roster is going to impact teacher eligibility to generate an allotment or the allotment value. All disputes will be resolved in SCOMS by our TIA team. It will have no impact on TSDS data. So we won't be doing any correcting of winter roster data. We'll just make adjustments in SCOMS to reprocess any allotments that were inaccurate. Disputes must be entered by May 5th, and we will resolve all of those by May 16th. So in some cases, the district may be asked to provide some supporting documentation for the dispute, such as HR records, payroll data, or a master schedule printout. If there are any fee disputes, again, please email us. You will not do those through SCOMS. We have 3 major reasons why a district would submit a dispute. So you can submit a dispute if 1, the winter roster data doesn't accurately reflect the correct campus for that teacher. This often happens for centrally assigned teachers. SCOMS may calculate the teacher at 12 different campuses when in fact they should be a centrally assigned teacher generating a district average allotment, and we can take care of that if you submit a dispute. Sometimes we have teachers with students that are commuting from several campuses, and we want the allotment value to just reflect their home campus. That can also be addressed through a dispute. Sometimes an eligible teacher, second case, didn't generate an allotment because they weren't reported correctly in winter submission. So they were reported either without a designation code, or maybe their year of service was not a yes, or they were reported with a roll ID other than 087. Those 3 cases, they may not generate an allotment even though they should have been eligible. Last case is a teacher generated an allotment that did not meet the year of service in a teacher role, and we need to take that allotment away and change that year of service to no. So to submit a dispute, you'll go to the Payout Total by School Year screen, and you'll see that there is a green button and a red button. A green means all systems go, all data is correct, you're ready to confirm. If any data is incorrect, you'll want to click the red Dispute button. So you'll click Dispute to view a dispute, add a dispute, edit, or delete disputes, and it will take you to the Disputes page. So this will keep a running list of any disputes that were submitted by the district. Note there's an option to delete all disputes, to add a dispute detail, and then individually you can enter disputes, and I'll show you in just a moment on the next page how to do that. But you can individually enter these, and remember we're correcting teacher level data, and then once entered you can edit or delete them. This can also be exported for your records. Let's take a look at the different dispute categories. So once you select Add a Dispute, you'll have to choose a category. This could be a teacher was missing from the report, they were not employed in a teaching role and need to be determined ineligible in SCOMS. You might need to change their year of service indicator to yes to no or no to yes, correct their campus, and then there are always some other circumstances that we may not have anticipated, and you can use that other category if needed. So adding a dispute, you can click Add Dispute, and you'll do these at the teacher level. Please ensure that you have each teacher's unique ID handy. Again, that's the 10-digit TSDS unique ID number for each teacher. You'll want to have their unique ID, their first and last name, the category of the dispute, and then notes. So you'll click Add Dispute Detail, select the category. You'll enter all of the requested details and then click Add. You'll review the dispute details on the main disputes page, and by then you can edit or delete it if you need to. So again, you won't submit one long dispute with everything that needs to be corrected. You'll submit disputes by teacher. So we'll correct that teacher's individual data. So here's a sample dispute. I'm adding a dispute for Cody. We need to change his year of service indicator. So I put in his 10-digit unique ID, his name, selected change year of service indicator, and then there will be directions specific to the category. So TEA, we request different levels of information depending on the change that needs to be made. So here I have a note that the teacher resigned on March 1st and did not meet the year of service prior to resigning. So they should not have been eligible. SCOMs may have generated an allotment based on inaccurate year of service data. So required information to have handy: the reason or category, the 10-digit unique ID. If they are missing from the allotment report, we will also request their date of birth. Please note that. You'll want their campus CDCNs, their role ID, which should be 087 if they're eligible, and the creditable year of service of yes, no. The level of detail in the notes may be required just depending on the selected reason. And please note that if we are adding a teacher to the allotment report, our team may email you asking you for more information. So after adding a dispute, we ask districts to export the dispute data for the next phase of verification. So you'll need to go back and make sure that all disputes were resolved once we process those. So our team will process disputes between May 6th and May 10th. And then if you had no disputes, your designation outcomes and allotment values can be considered final once you've confirmed. TEA will notify districts via email once the disputes are resolved. You'll also see in your disputes page that TEA will add comments so that you have a record of your dispute history. By May 16th, districts must repeat the allotment verification process after the dispute is resolved before confirming the allotment. Final step, so if you are a district that has no disputes, maybe you just have a few designated teachers, everything looks accurate, you can jump right ahead and begin confirming your. If you are ready to confirm your allotment, just triple check that all eligible teachers on your district tracker generated an allotment and were reported at the correct campus. If you submitted a request for fee reimbursement for National Board, please make sure those are accurate. And if you went through kind of 2 rounds to have a dispute resolved, make sure that is complete and accurate a second time. Then you'll review our attestations with any relevant departments and maintain a local record of superintendent sign-off on those attestations. So at tiatexas.org/attestations, you can preview that. To confirm your final allotment, you'll start at the home page for payout, where it's payout by school year, and you will see the red dispute button and the green confirm button. Once all disputes are resolved, or if you had no disputes, you can click that green confirm button. There will be a pop-up legal disclaimer, and this confirms that whoever is clicking confirm, if not the superintendent, has been granted authority by the superintendent to confirm allotment funds and agree to the attestations. You're also confirming that the district has reviewed and verified each teacher designation and allotment. We want these to be final. And then the district has reviewed the list of attestations and agrees to all. So clicking confirm a second time, that will serve as the district signature, and that will set your allotment in stone. That is the amount that will go to our FSP team. Please do not submit any signed attestations to TEA. Once all allotments are confirmed, you can ensure that your payout by school year page on the total by school year will match your district summary of finance report. So after the September settle-up process, the final SOF report should match the payout by school year in SCOMs when you add in the approved fees. So total allotment plus total fees should match line 30 in your SOF report starting in. Now we'll take a look at your key next steps and dates. So by May 4th, we want you to do that pre-work of verifying your allotment. So checking your district tracker against SCOM. So you'll have your district tracker for all designated teachers, any NBCTs, and whether or not they're eligible. So if they were employed by the district in a role ID 087 and a credible year of service, they should be in that allotment report. You'll verify their campus of employment for those who are eligible, export your designation and payout data from SCOMs, compare that to your district tracker, and then submit any disputes if needed. You'll also want to review your attestations and obtain a local record of the superintendent's signature. So all of that by May 4th, gives you about a week or so. On May 4th, we'll also have our office hours. So if you have any questions about verifying your allotment or submitting disputes, you can join us on May 4th. The registration link is included in both the email that was sent out and the slide deck. By May 5th, that's your deadline to confirm or dispute the allotment. And then May 16th, if a dispute was submitted, we should have that processed and you can reconfirm that by May 16th. By May 26th, we ask that you communicate with your designated teachers, share their allotment that they generated, and then your district spending plan and timeline for payout. Any designated teachers generate an allotment and are not with the district anymore, please make sure you reach out to them via their forwarding address and let them know what your plans are for the funds. And just some dates for awareness. So May 27th, our public designated teacher search will be available on the TIA website, and it will allow designated teachers to view and print a virtual certificate of designation. We will also notify designated teachers who generate an allotment via their ECOS email address. So they'll receive their designated teacher ID, their district and campus of employment, the amount they generated for the district, and statutory spending requirements. So we encourage districts to communicate with teachers prior to receiving this email. Make sure they understand your spending plan and the percentage that they will receive if they have not already been paid, and then the date that they will receive that funding. If you have any teachers that have resigned prior to your payout date, we strongly encourage you to reach out to them via their forwarding address and notify them of your plan for allotment funds. Any inquiries that we receive through our inbox from teachers, we will be forwarding directly to the district. By August 31st, that's the deadline to spend your 21-22 allotment. Just a reminder that 90% or more of the funds must be spent on teacher compensation on the campus where the designated teacher works or worked. Up to 10% may be withheld by the district for any costs directly associated with TIA or supporting teachers in earning designations. We've also linked our spending resources, FAQ, and best practices. And then by September, the allotment will be reflected in your summary of finance report. Thank you. If you have any questions, please email our team at tia@tea.texas.gov.